I am fucking muted. I am bloody muted. G'day, guys. Welcome back to the Aussie Gooner channel. Now I'm unmuted. You can bloody hear me. I can hear you here everywhere. And Jurrien, Jurrien, you name it. He's an Arsenal player. Great news. Declan Rice around the corner. Deal going to be confirmed. Yes, by West Ham. Done. They've said, see you later, Ricey. Nice knowing you. Thanks for all the laughs. And now it's up to Arsenal to announce. But look, first things first, I'm happy. I'm jumping for joy on this signing of Jurrien Timber. Finally, guys, it's done. It's like it's taken forever, but we're here now. Jurrien Timber over the line. He's wearing the kit. He's looking kind of trick. And you know what? I'm jumping for joy. A ball-playing centre-back, right back. Maybe not the best in the air, but a quality player indeed. And guys, look, before we get into it, if you haven't, please like the content. Smack it up. Subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Almost at 500. Showing a Gooner some love here in Australia. But let me tell you, I got my guy in the background, Akpos here. Bang. My guy, how you feeling, bro? How you feeling right now, my guy?
I'm feeling good. I hope you're hearing me all right. Apologies for jumping on the show a little bit late. I'm excited about what the season holds. All of these transfer news of the players coming in, I think it's getting me all fired up. I can't wait for the season to start. I can't wait for the season opener. So, right, I think we are all, as Arsenal fans, for the last couple of years, we have been yearning for our owners to show their hands that they want to win on the pitch, that they are interested in seeing this football club going back to the rightful place, which is up there competing with the top team. So these signings, these players that are coming in are making us positive and making us beginning to believe that actually the owners also want what we the fans want, which is to get trophies on the pitch.
And you know what? I couldn't agree with you more, Akpos. It's been so long for an Arsenal fan to be happy when it comes to a transfer window. You know, I mean, every single transfer window that came and went, it was always like, oh God, we're going to be linked with rubbish. We're going to be linked with players that were has-beens. It's always never the number one target. It's always, it's always a second fiddle or third fiddle. And now it just seems that, Arsenal going for a player, bang, our number one target. Done. We're working on it, but it's done. It's not, as soon as somebody comes in, we go, we run away, hide in the shadows and say, well, we can't compete with anyone. It seems as if that sentiment is done and dusted. It feels as if the hierarchy have a plan and the manager is being backed. I don't know. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, Steve. For us, this is what we want to see. We want to see our club going out there when it comes to this transfers and getting the business done. We were very disappointed last summer because we felt like I wouldn't say summer in the winter transfer window, because we felt like the manager had a priority transfer target, which looks more like Moses Caicedo, and that inability of us getting that player down, we were frustrated by that because we want to see our club go out there when we hear all of these links about players being linked with the club as the priority transfer target. We want to see us going there and getting the business done, getting that player that seems like the manager wants. Because for me, we've seen what the manager could do with some players who potentially were not its priority targets. And now he has gotten his priority target, the guys that he really wants. I think this looks more like a Mikel Arteta team. And we should be excited with what is to come forward and what the future of the...
I think we've lost you there, Akpos. But I think what Akpos was trying to say, there we go. Akpos, your internet connection, I think you're gotcha.
Can you
You're
hear
back.
me?
You're back. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I said we should all be excited with us getting our main transfer target in the door, because I think it's a big statement on the pitch and off the pitch, because we are telling the other big guys, the other big clubs that yes, we are ready to compete off the pitch also. When the best players of the world are going to be available, our name is going to be mentioned in those discussions, and that's what we expected from this football club and what we expected from the owners.
For a long time we've expected that, and right now Arsenal have made those moves. Now I look at Jurrien Timber, and look, I've got a couple of guys in the chat. Big up the chat, big up. Mike in Perth is saying he is at the London Colony, and we are talking, yes, Declan Rice. That's going to be in the coming hours. I'm expecting, or the minutes, you never know. I'm expecting Declan Rice to be announced. It could even happen while we're on this stream. So I'm keeping my eyes and ears open. That if it does happen whilst we're on the stream, I'll announce it right here, guys. Football Capital in the building, guys.
Big up the
subscribe to my guys' channel. Subscribe to Akpos's channel. It's going to be in the description below. I have to update, but it will be in the description below. Akpos, if you can, jump into the chat and just throw the link to your channel in the chat if you don't mind. CFCOG saying, my G Akpos is the man. He's the man. AK's done saying Rice, Rashford. Here we go. A little bit of this and that in the chat. And Lenny Moon saying, my God, Lenny Moon, it's been a while, bro. I hope you're well. My brother, smash up those likes. Please do so, guys, if you haven't smacked those likes. But Jurrien Timber, I'm excited by this signing because it possibly changes the dynamic of Arsenal right now. Now, the reason why is because he's a ball-playing defender. Probably not the best in the air. Let's just be honest. No, he's not the tallest player in the world, and that always worries me when I've got a defender who's not very high. That was a concern when I know when Martinez was linked with Man United. I was like, he's a bit short, but he was able to do it. But I look at Jurrien Timber, and the height thing does get to me, but he's a ball-playing defender, and this is where I think to myself, what does Timber come in to a back three? Is he sitting there at right back? Does he come into a back four? Is he a player that we use off the bench? It just gives us so many options. And does he displace anybody? Or does this put pressure on Ben White? Does Tomiyasu look now and say, well, what about me? It opens up a lot of doors, centre back and right back. I don't know about you, but I think this is the best thing to happen to Arsenal when you've got a player who's well versed as a centre back, who can be used as a right back. And you've got some players out there now wondering, what about me? I don't know about you. I'm excited by this signing, and I think it's going to add a further dynamic to Arsenal's squad depth. Do you see Jurrien Timber as a starting line player, or do you see him coming off the bench?
Bro, I think all of the things you're saying is all the things that we've been yearning for, because we want competition in places. We want the manager to have headache on who to start with. We want, as fans, when we don't see certain players on the starting XI, we are not having tantrums. We are not having we are not being scared of what's to happen in the game. So I think this gives us we needed more quality, and we seeing the club getting business done early, bringing in quality players also who could potentially come in and play in multiple positions. I think one thing we can say about Mikel's style of recruitment, it's versatility is one of the things he's looking also. He's looking into players who have certain qualities and will be able to interpret different positions. When they go into different positions, they'll be able to, play well in this position. And Jurrien Timber as a player who's, like you rightly said, very good with the ball on his feet. He can play in multiple positions. He can also play in midfield. He can also play on the right side of the fence, be it as a fullback or as a right centre back. So for me, I think if he's coming in, definitely is going to be knocking on the door of William Saliba also, because I want to see us having competition. Nobody should be rest assured that my starting place is guaranteed. There are no guarantees in this team. We want to see everybody going in and fighting for the shirt. For me, I love to see these guys giving Mikel all of this headache. This is what I want to see. If Ben White is not starting, I want to see Jurrien Timber, pushing him to start in that right fullback position. Also pushing William Saliba in that right centre back position to me, because these guys coming in, more competition in places. We as fans, we are going to be people who are going to be the beneficiary, because when these players are competing for places across the board of the team would excel. The team will be successful. People will be on their toes. Nobody will be relenting. And when players have that dip in form, because during the season it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. During that stretch of a season, when players have that dip in form, other players who are in the squad would come in and get the business done, and the quality of play would not be dropped. So for me, Jurrien Timber coming in, whichever position is going to play, I think that's for the manager to decide. I think it's going to be more quality. It's going to give us security, and it's going to give us that cover. If he comes in and starts, definitely I would want to see. I want to see that also too, because for me, I don't think like Ben White or anyone else should say I have a place in this team. You have to prove it on the pitch every single day in the training. You have to prove I deserve to start every single day on match day. You have to also prove it that you deserve to start. So whoever starts should be on merit, being on their performance at that particular moment.
It's about pressure and good pressure. I think I could not agree with I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying here. The pressure when it comes to a player's position and him worrying about losing it is good for a fan, mainly because this is where you don't get lackluster performances. You don't get players who can rest on their laurels. I look at Jurrien Timber, a player who can play 2 positions. I look at Declan Rice, a player who can play 3 positions. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Arsenal's dynamic now. Every single player can play at least 2 positions. You get what I'm saying? They can play, like, the defenders can play in a back 3. Saliba can be on the right-hand side. Gabriel could sit on his own as a lone centre back or a lone left back. Every player seems to have that different edge, that different dynamic. So if anything needs to change, it can, and it can happen. It can happen kind of easily. It's not like taking a player out of position and trying to get him to play, from right wing to left wing, but he's never played that position. These are players like Jurrien Timber, who can play in the center of park, so can Zinchenko. So now we have 2 players, one from the left, one from the right. Both of them can shift into the middle of the park. Now that adds to the dynamic. Now I know most people are going to say, wait a second, what do you mean? You've got Jurrien Timber who can come off the bench and play in the middle of the park. And we've also had Zinchenko, everyone calling for Zinchenko to come to the middle of the park too. So if you have that sort of a dynamic and you have a player like Declan Rice that can come in at centre back even, it changes everything. And it allows you to be a little bit unpredictable. Like my guy Mike from Perth is saying, it's giving us a little bit of unpredictability, yes. And I believe that it changes. It possibly, with the right signings, our shape can change maybe a few different ways. We don't have to sit in the same formation constantly with the addition of Declan Rice, Jurrien Timber, maybe a Kai Havertz, God help us on that one, and depending on Lavia and the rest. I think this is a good place for Arsenal to be in right now. I think the targets that Mikel Arteta is going for are players that don't get me wrong, are specialists, left wing, right wing, centre back, but they have a different dynamic as well. It's not I'm stuck at centre back. I can play right back. I can play centre back. I can play in the middle of the park. And that allows a team like Arsenal, who is challenging, last season for the title, almost won it, allows them to challenge once again. You don't want to be a 1D team, especially when you don't have the depth, Akpos. I'm just going to get into these comments real quick. Lenny Moon, I'd still like a striker who can get 20 goals. Yeah, you know what? I'd like that too. But I'm going to get on this one real quick. And Akpos, you tell me if you agree or not. Now, Lenny, I know what you're saying. And I would like that too. But the Arsenal squad, the way I see it at the moment, from last season, we had goals from every end of the pitch, right? And when we did have a player who could get 20 goals, like Aubameyang, we were finishing 7th, 8th. Now, I would like a striker who doesn't get injured, and he's probably a little bit more clinical. But 20 goals, that would be great. But I don't want all our goals to funnel through the striker. I like the idea of it coming from the wings and the midfield and coming from so many different angles. Akpos, what would you say to this?
I would say I'm a little bit in the middle on this one, because for me, I think we need that striker who would come in and score a lot of goals. But I also love the team dynamics with the fact that we have our goals spread across the entire team. You can't pinpoint one player and say, okay, I'm going to mark this man off, and definitely that would be job done. So we have potentially a lot of players that are very dangerous. But I know we can't. That striker we want is going to be very expensive. And the way I look at it, we can't get all of the business done in one transfer window. We are gradually closing in the gap. We are gradually getting there. So we're getting in a marquee signing in terms of Declan Rice in the midfield position. Definitely, I think what we have in terms of the offensive positions, I think we are stuck there, in my opinion. But there is always room for improvement. If that striker that comes in now and will be able to give us 20 goals coming tomorrow, definitely we will take him. So, but I think I'm not certain that we are moving like a team who wants to get in a striking addition in terms of a player who could give us potentially 20, let's say 25 goals in this summer transfer window.
I don't see it either. I don't think we're moving. I think you're right. The way we're moving is we're packing the midfield where we were a bit weak. And don't get me wrong, Xhaka and Partey was a decent midfield, and Partey's still a decent midfielder. I think it's about making sure our midfield never collapses again, because this was a major issue for us last season. And we have to be very careful when it comes to look, the middle of the park is the spine, and the spine of our team, to be perfectly honest, it did kind of collapse last season. I know William Saliba was a loss. I understand it. But to be honest, I think the drop-off in the midfield was a bigger issue than Rob Holding coming in for Saliba. So it's I think 20 goals a season striker, that'd be nice, but I agree with Akpos. I don't see it happening. Me, I'm a kind of guy that keeps yelling for Alexander Mitrovic to Arsenal. I want Alexander Mitrovic to come to Arsenal now. And I'm going to big up Football Capital, because Football Capital was talking this before Mitrovic was on anyone's radar. So big up my guy, Football Capital, because you called it from the start.
Big up the Busher. I wanted to add also to what you said in terms of I wanted to add also to what you said in terms of that defensive cover that we have brought in Jurrien Timber. For me, I think some of the dip in form we experienced when Saliba got injured was because when Rob Holding came into the team, the quality dropped in terms of the defensive unit. And I think Thomas Partey had more to worry about when Rob Holding was in that defense, in my opinion. I think that also affected the midfield. So Jurrien Timber coming in as a cover in that right side of the fence, I think, and Declan Rice coming in midfield, I think we have attended the issues we had last season, which is the midfield and the defensive cover for players who would come in. And these guys who are coming in, I think they are not just coming in to, okay, they could potentially, we know Declan Rice is definitely going to start, but Jurrien Timber is coming in, is not a player who wants to come in and say, okay, I'm contented with sitting on the bench. It's coming in and wants to play. So this is what we want to see. And if, let's say, in a situation when one defender in that right side gets injured, I don't think we would panic as much as we did last season. So I think like we are moving in the right direction. We all are yearning for that striker who could potentially come in and add. But I look at the number of strikers we have right now, and I know it's definitely going to be hard if we are going to bring in a striker of that caliber that could potentially get in 20 goals. And also, we should also be concerned that we have not seen a lot of movement in terms of our outgoings yet. So not until we can sort that part of business before we could, be looking at getting in a one striker in potentially before the summer transfer window ends.
I think the striker that we have to try to target, and look, Mike and Perth, great. This is a great comment. We can invert from the other side too now, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Now, if Kieran Tierney sits on the left-hand side and becomes just a normal left wing back, we can use Jurrien Timber to invert on the right. It's hectic. I know. I love it. It's just great. I think we've lost Akpos. I'm just going to remove him real quick. I'll add him to the stream when he's back. Lenny Moon, interchangeable qualities, brilliant to the squad. Couldn't agree with you more. DWTT in the building, guys. Subscribe to this man's channel, please. Big up, my guy. Big up. Mike in Perth. Striker market average. Agree. Respread goals. What about the right side forward? Who can cover the number 9? Now, this is a good comment, and this has been answered by Bobby. Bobby has come in and he has thrown out the Porto striker Taremi, who's an Iranian. I think he's an Iranian footballer. He's not the youngest guy. He's not the youngest guy in the world. I think he's like 31. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bobby. But he had a good season last season. I think it was 34 games, 20 goals in the Primera. He wouldn't be expensive, just like he's saying. 20 million. I think that'd be euro. It is worth the risk. It's good to give us a bit of depth. And I believe the reason why we could move for this guy is because, I don't know, Balogun is a great player, but I'm not going to rest on Balogun being the number 2 to Jesus. I don't know what you think. Do you know much about this player, Taremi?
I think Taremi is a striker who has been around for a long time now. He's got experience experience, and I think he has got goals in him also. So, but I'm looking at the project where we are currently at. I'm not thinking we need to bring in stopgap signings. I don't think that's where we are
Yeah.
at right now. So that's why I would not want to lean towards a signing like Taremi coming in. I think he's a veteran striker, but I'm looking at us getting into the business for the real deal strikers. So if we really want to bring in a player, I think we should bring in a player who could potentially want to compete to start. That's the way I look at it. If I don't think we need to start bringing in players that would want to just sit there and come in. You understand? So I'm looking at we bringing in a player who's as good as what we've got, or who is better. That's the way I look at it. If we want to recruit a striker, so if we want move on Eddie or Balogun, I think I'm looking at us getting in a top quality striker.
Well, I think if we do move one of those players, I couldn't agree with you more. Football Capital said Mitra to Saudi Arabia. That's true, but Fulham apparently have rejected the £25 million bid from Saudi for this for Mitrovic. Correct me if I'm wrong, dude, but I did hear something about that being rejected, and it was in the Armory chit chat. So hopefully Fulham don't rest on their laurels and trying to get a bigger fucking price on Mitrovic. I'd rather have Mitrovic at Arsenal, but hey, if he wants Saudi and he wants that money, what can you do? Luke is agreeing 100%. Bobby, I'd take him for 20 mil. Lenny Mooney saying, regarding a striker, it would be nice to have a variety on the bench. Eddie only got 4 goals. That's true. But I think both me and Akpos would agree that you'd want a guy who's a little bit taller. You want a guy who's a bit of a, who's more of a threat aerially. Because at the moment, it just seems that that's part of our attack that is just nullified. And it's not because we can't put the ball into the box. We just have no one to get on the end of it. You know what I mean? Like Jesus is not a really good header of the ball. And I could probably say the same for Eddie. Every time he has had a header, they've been wayward or way over the bar. So, yeah, sorry. I think we do need a different dynamic when it comes to strikers. We've got to go Silver. Silver saying, now we got Timber. Getting rid of Tini would be crazy to me. Exactly. Just like one of the boys said. I don't know if you agree, Akpos, but now we can invert from either side and we can change that dynamic. When Zinchenko sits, we can put Tini on the left to play normal left wing back and put Timber on the right. And now all of a sudden, we're no longer inverting from the left, we're inverting from the right. And that might even open up the Saka as well. Help him cut in.
But can I say something on this Temi situation? I think this is something that I've noticed from the last season, and the first preseason game also is beginning to confirm what I was thinking. I feel like Mikel Arteta does not trust Jurrien Teni, and if there's something that's very visible with the way Mikel Arteta wants, it wants players who are willing to carry out his instructions. It's not about getting in a superstar player with Mikel, a player who's sold on to his ideal, a player who loves to play in his own ideology. So for me, what's his name? Jakob Kiwior starting in left back ahead of Jurrien Teni in that first preseason game was more like a confirmation for me. I think like Mikel Arteta does not have Jurrien Teni's trust. I think there's a trust issue there in terms of the way he wants his team to play. So I'm looking more like we could more likely let Jurrien Teni go in this transfer window. I think you guys should watch out for that one.
Jurrien Teni everyone's been talking about him to Newcastle, and 45 to 48 million pound has been the chat. Keaton has come in and said, I think if we sell Eddie and Balogun for 100 mil, we could get a top striker. Look, that'd be great, but I don't see us getting anywhere near 100 mil for both of them. I think we'd be lucky to see 35 mil for Eddie, lucky for that. And I reckon we'd be lucky to see about 45 mil for Balogun. I don't see us getting 50 mil for Balogun. I think 45, that would be rich for Balogun. In the present climate, I don't know about you, Akpos, but I think the two of them combined, if we sell both, maybe 70 mil, maybe scraping 70 mil. I don't know, but would that be enough to try to find a decent striker? I mean, 70 mil, if we were able to pull in 70 mil, that could be a serious bid for a player like Alexander Mitrovic. I'm not saying it has to be him, but it could be you don't have to go as far as 70 mil for him, but you could put in a serious bid for him. 70 mil, here's one. 70 mil and Ivan Toney in 6 months.
You know, Ivan Toney is one is one that personally I've always
Tell me what you guys
looked at,
think.
like, I've always looked at and said, okay, this guy could potentially ball for us if we could get it done. But I think that long layoff with that band is going to be one that would make a lot of us raise an eyebrow in terms of that transfer. But for me, I think like both players will be able to raise above 70 mil the way I look at it into this transfer, because they are young. They have got a good number of years on their contract. In terms of Eddie, he just signed a new long-term contract recently. So for me, I think we'll be able to get above 70 mil for both of them. And a comment coming from Luke, it's something that I was thinking about, that that amount should be able to get a transfer like Dusan Vlahovic done, even though he's a player that I don't really fancy, with the fact that when he went to Juve from Fiorentina, we were pretty much interested in that deal. It seems like it picked Juventus ahead of us, so it was not sold into our project then. Now we're in the Champions League. Now we look like we have more financial prowess. I don't think we should be going in for those kind of players, in my opinion. I think we should potentially look in other directions. So for me, 70 mil is going to be pretty much difficult to get in a good striker right now in terms of today's transfer value, with the way clubs are valuing the players. We are hearing with all the things we're hearing so far, the little flyers that have been able to come out with the Moses Caicedo thing. We've been hearing that Brighton wants a fee almost in the same region as Declan Rice. So you can imagine what could be on if you want to get a star striker from any top football club, who could potentially give you 20 goals. So that would command a lot of money into this transfer. So, but let's see what's going to happen. I think like there are still a lot of things that could happen. We have about 50 days left in this transfer window. So let's see what's going to happen in terms of our outgoings, and potentially maybe we might be in the market again for a striker.
I think a lot of people agree with your ideas here, Akpos, because the next move for a striker, just like Luke was saying, you know, we could go in for Vlahovic. Even my guy, the football capital, Borges in the building, saying, mate, 70 mil, go back in for Vlahovic. We could. He struggles. He struggled at Juventus. I think the style of play didn't really help him. So last season's stats were shocking, to be perfectly honest. They were abysmal by his standard. It could be a move. But the thing is, you know, Mikel Arteta is one of those kind of guys that, you know, he's a kind of guy that holds a grudge. He doesn't get his signing. He's a bit of a Wenger guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not certain if you'd go back in for him. But it would be a decent signing. The way strikers are nowadays when it comes to Premier League, when it comes to, you know, all around the world, the number 9 role has changed so much that you can't find a real number 9 anymore, and they're becoming few and far between. So it's becoming very hard to actually get a decent number 9 now. So I think Vlahovic is maybe a good shout, and that wouldn't be like a stopgap, just like you were saying. It would literally be Jesus and Vlahovic fighting, or playing both of them together, which way we can. You know, Jesus could sit on the right, Vlahovic down the middle of the park, give Saka a rest, whatever it may be, and everyone fighting for their position. So it's a tough one. For me at the moment, the Jurrien Timber deal I thought would have been done earlier, and going back onto the Jurrien Timber deal, it helps me. It helps Arsenal at the moment, because our issue at the moment with our middle of the park and our defensive line last season coming to the end, with Saliba getting injured, with Partey kind of dropping his head, a player like Jurrien Timber can come in and patch up this squad. And when we look at our striker, just like everyone in the chat is, we're all wondering who will come in for Jesus if Jesus gets injured. And I know Trossard is great, but I think everybody in the chat is looking for somebody that brings in goals and brings in a different dynamic. Everyone in the chat, big up. But if you had to pick a striker right now, and you had anywhere between 60 to 80 million, who would you be going for? And maybe why? Because right now, Vlahovic is great, but could we get him? Because he's going to, I think, Akpos, correct me if I'm wrong, if he comes to Arsenal, he's going to be like, I want starting line. He's not going to be coming in to fight. I think he's going to be saying, I want to be starting. And is that something that, if you're Mikel Arteta, could you guarantee that over Jesus? And would you?
If we what?
If Vlahovic comes in, if we go for Vlahovic and he's like, yes, I'll come to Arsenal, but I will only come to Arsenal if I'm starting over Jesus. Is that something you guarantee?
Bro, I don't think there are any guarantee for places. You have to come in and you have to fight for the jersey. So I don't think Mikel Arteta would even agree to that. Exactly. With the way the ideology we are seeing his team play. I think there are no guarantee for places. You have to come in and fight for the shirt. If he think he is better than Gabriel Jesus, then come into the club and find out for yourself.
I think, I couldn't agree with you more. I just think it just depends on how the deal gets done. I mean, the Declan Rice deal at the moment is a deal that has taken forever when it comes to big money in the deal and blah, blah, blah. But the Vlahovic deal could be a little bit easier. Luke was saying we was really never in for him. So he never really turned us down. And even if he did, that wouldn't bother me. He's an elite level center forward of the profile that I'd like. Tall, strong, commands the box. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. He's a different dynamic. But Lenny Moon's come in. And tell me what you think of this one, Akpos. I think Akpos is going to agree with this. What about Jonathan David?
I'll take him.
Speed. My guy Moss would be saying speed.
I would take him. I'll take him for sure because I think he has the profile of the kind of players that we do, the style, the way we play. I think he fits into our style. So I will take him. And as a player who is still young, there's still definitely room for improvement. The player who could potentially we could take it to the next level if he makes that move.
Look, you know what? I think what after watching him, you know, my guy Moss telling me check him out. I was a little bit excited with the kind of play. Speed is something that, you know, Moss was screaming and yelling about, and bloody hell has he got it in abundance. And he would suit the Premier League. Like he would really be a firecracker in the Premier League. Like, wow. But Football Capital saying Højlund or Seiko for not for 70, but 50 or 60. That's a good shout. But it wouldn't be, you know what? Would they, Football Capital, would they displace Jesus? Either one. I'm not certain they would. I'm not certain. I think they're probably on level par, on par with Jesus. I think if we're moving forward, we need to kind of go, just like my guy Akpos is saying, kind of a level up. DWTT saying David is better than Eddie, but does not push Jesus. But does he push Jesus to the wing? I think so. No, I think he does.
I don't think so.
I think he.
No,
I think
don't
he'll push
so.
him to the wing.
I
reckon he would.
I think if he comes in and he wants to play on the wing, I think he did be going to battle with Martinelli on that side.
I don't know if he goes to Martinelli, if he pushes Martinelli on that side, does that mean my guy Mike in Perth is saying does Martinelli as a 9? So if Jonathan David comes in, we push Martinelli in as a 9. I don't know. The guys are freaking quick. They're quick and they're right. You know what? Does it happen? Jesus gets shifted out. Martinelli's a striker.
In terms of quickness, yes. But in terms of when some teams will sit back, I think it will be difficult for Martinelli to play as a number 9.
The link up wouldn't be the same.
If he does not have enough room, enough space to operate, to go in behind, I think that would be difficult for him in terms of what Gabriel Jesus brings, in terms of the link-up play, in terms of, you know, having the ball on his feet, that connection with other players playing around him. I don't think Martinelli has got that level yet.
I don't think he can hold it up that well. I don't think he can hold it up. I think once he can get muscled off. Yeah, I think he'll get muscled off. Silver One, listen to this. He's saying, no, not Jonathan David. No more attackers from Lille. I know. Jurrien and Pepe. I know. Look, yeah. I know. And that's another player, Pepe, who I know we're going to have to get off the books ASAP. Now, I was thinking about this Declan Rice deal, Akpos. And there's been a lot of questions about where does Declan Rice play? Initially, when we were linked with Declan Rice, I saw him as a replacement number 8. My guy, Football Capital, saying Xhaka out, Rice in. He also sees him as an 8. At the moment, the current climate, with Kai Havertz here, Declan Rice coming in, how do you see Declan Rice fitting into this squad? Does Kai Havertz sit on the bench? Or do we see Declan Rice sitting sort of like a double pivot with Partey?
Well, for me, I think it's definitely going to depend on the opposition we are facing. Because if, let's say, we are going to like an Anfield, or we are going to play against Manchester City, which we know is a monster of an opposition, I don't think we will be very confident to play one pivot, let's say, a Declan Rice, or Thomas Partey and Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard. So, but I think it depends on the opposition. In teams where we are going to see a lot of the football, definitely, we would want teams that are going to sit back. We want to unlock these defenses. I think we would potentially see a lone pivot. I don't know who that lone pivot will be. I think that's the right headache for the manager to sort out. But I think when we are going to play against teams like Liverpool, teams like Man City, teams like Manchester United, I think it's going to be. I would be more. How would I say? I would have more confidence in the team if I see a midfield combination of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey than Martin Odegaard playing ahead of them.
You know, look, Declan Rice and Thomas Partey side by side would be a great. Would be a great midfield. I know Kai Havertz is there. I just don't understand why we got him. So I'm a bit confused on Kai Havertz. I just don't see it. But if we were to hold the same formation that we did the previous season, then Declan Rice does come in for Xhaka, and I think he's going to do great. Yeah, he'll be. I think he'd be great for in Xhaka's role. But I also think he can play the 6. I think he can play the 6 without a problem. Exactly. I just thought to myself he would be. I don't know. I thought he could be in our system probably better suited as an 8. My guy Football Capital saying that his suggestions for strikers they would. Jesus is very similar to Saka and Martinelli in playing style. The other two offer something Arsenal don't have up front. And now I said Xhaka over Rice. Okay. To be honest, look, Football Capital for me, I look at poor Granit Xhaka now. He's moved on. Great midfielder for us last season. I think Declan Rice is a great signing. I think just like most Arsenal fans right now, we're a little bit confused in regards to the 65 mil that we've just spent for Kai Havertz. So we're just trying to find out how we can fit these players in. And the only reason where I believe that Kai Havertz could start is because Arsenal aren't the kind of team that splashes a lot of cash and allows a player to sit on the bench. I know everyone's going to say, look what happened to Pepe, but he was initially bought for the starting 11. So if we were to hold our current lineup and we were to hold our current formation, Partey would be our 6, Declan Rice could be our 8, Odegaard would be our 10. We could change the dynamic again by playing 3 in the back, bringing in Kai Havertz and playing him side by side Odegaard, and now we've got, how can I say, a more attacking presence with a back 3, and even Declan Rice could then shift back into in as a centre back if he has to, pushing Gabriel out to the left. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Akpos, but that's a possibility. What do we got here? DWTT says Rice allows Arteta to rest Partey and use him in big Premier League games in Champions League. Trossard, Kai, right? You know what? Let me think. Yeah, it does. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but I think without us getting a player like Lavia in as well, I still think we're going to be a little bit skimpy in the middle of the park, especially when it comes to holding midfielders, players that can kind of take a bit of a bump. But yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from. Big up. Big up. What do we got here? Reopposition. I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Not sure better than Balogun reopposition. Yeah. No, fair enough. So, guys, look, to be honest, sorry, we've lost Akpos, but to be honest, I look at Declan Rice, and this is going to be something that's coming up in the coming hours. Arsenal are probably going to announce this in an hour or two, maybe even half an hour. I'm not certain. But I know one thing, that Declan Rice to Arsenal does mean a change in our midfield. Jurrien Timber to Arsenal means a change in our backline. And when I mean a change, I mean a different dynamic. I also mean a possible different formation. I mean, with Partey at the moment, if he was to stay, Akpos, I'd be happy for Partey to stay. I'd really be happy if Partey sticks with Arsenal and we go and get a Lavia as well. Now that would be good. Tchouaméni would be better if we went and grabbed Tchouaméni tomorrow and Partey was to leave, and it would be skimpy, but that would be all right. But if Partey is to stay and we went and got a Lavia, I would be kind of happy with this transfer window. I don't know about you, Akpos. What would you rather, Tchouaméni come in and Partey leave, or Lavia come in and Partey stays? Hopefully with everything in the background being hunky-dory, if you know what I mean by the background, Akpos. Akpos, are you there, buddy? I think I've lost Akpos. Akpos, my guy, gone. Sorry, dude. Can you hear me? I don't think Akpos can hear me. I'm sorry, guys. But so what I was saying was, look, Football capital. Is Partey leaving? Okay. The situation with Thomas Partey is that there has been links to him going to Saudi, and there have been links to him going to Juventus. Now, Juventus came in and lowballed the transfer fee for Thomas Partey. And so what happened there is Arsenal, of course, rejected that. The Saudis have come in, offered a little bit more. I think it was about, from memory, Football Capital, I think the Saudis came in and offered about 45 million euro. Juventus offered about 20 million euro. Now, the issue we had here is Arsenal rejected Juventus. We're interested in the Saudi deal, but Thomas Partey is not interested in Saudi. So, unfortunately, it leaves Thomas Partey's career in the air. And Thomas Partey actually, from reports, has kind of kicked a little bit of a stink up because he's not guaranteed a position in the midfield at the moment under this regime. So it's a bit of a 50-50. I'm hoping that he'll stay. I'm hoping that we're going to get depth in order to, push him in that position. But I'm not certain, man. It's a tough one. In my opinion, it looks like Partey will be leaving. DWTT, Partey leaving. If True Lavia would need a season before he's ready. Caicedo is the only answer, right? Caicedo would be a great answer if Partey leaves. Jurrien Timber comes in. I don't know. Could he play a 6? It's a shout. Could he play that position? Could Declan Rice play 6 and we makeshift Zinchenko in the center of the park as our sort of number 8 makeshift? That's a possibility. At the moment, I would love to see Caicedo come to Arsenal, but the price that they are commanding for Caicedo now is very close to Declan Rice. It's anywhere between, it's about 70 to 80 million pound. And I don't see Arsenal going and paying 70 to 80 million pound for Caicedo. I just don't think we got that kind of coin. Sorry, dude. What do you think of Dawood saying Arsenal will win the treble next year? No, it's not happening. Not happening. To do the treble, and this is a thing, right? Arsenal fans, we sit here and we'll talk about winning, going unbeaten, right? Our gold trophy, invincible. That's hard, very hard. It's fucking beyond, right? Not many teams have done it. We have. The treble is not an easy feat. To be able to stay relevant in so many competitions and to succeed in them, that's a massive feat. Hence the reason why not many a team in the Premier League have done it. Manchester teams seem to be having luck in this department. United did it first, now City. But not many a team have been able to duplicate that. Unfortunately, I just think to myself, Arsenal to win a treble? I don't think so. I think Arsenal need to win the league first. Solidify this. Show some strength. And then we can talk about moving on to trebles. Winning the league to start. Pushing for Champions League next. Treble, at least at least win in the Premier League, win in the Champions League, and win a domestic cup. My guy. Big up. Henry Ray Baker channel, big up. Hi Aussie. Gooner just popped in to give you a like. My guy, big up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to his channel. I reckon he was smoking crack. Tell me about it. Look, Arsenal are going to still have a hard time next season trying to compete for the Premier League. Very hard. Manchester City are a beast. We are going to struggle in the Premier League. And that's not because we're rubbish. It's because the opposition, the trendsetters, Manchester City, are that good. So, yeah, smoking crack, I believe so. Football capital, life like Arsenal won't win a trophy next season. No, I don't see that happening, bro. Sorry. I hate to say it. I think we might fall into the FA Cup world. I'd like to see us compete for the Premier League again. Maybe we get lucky. But I think Mikel Arteta has to start taking the cup competitions a little bit seriously. Wouldn't you agree? Because, I mean, it's going to be his head if he doesn't win anything. You know what I mean, mate? Henry Ray Baker, Ty, false shout out. Cheers for the shout out. Nah, no worries, bro. No worries. Guys, look. Declan Rice to Arsenal. All I can say is I'm excited. Jurrien Timber to Arsenal. All I can say is I'm excited. Jurrien Timber is an Arsenal man. He is now wearing... Oh, wait a minute. I think I got Akpos back. Have I got Akpos back, guys, in the chat? Have I got Akpos back? Is Akpos in the building? Can you hear me, my guy?
Yeah. Sure. I can hear you. I've been having some technicals, but hopefully the rest of the show will go on smoothly. But apologies to everybody on the chat. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, if you've not hit that like button, don't forget to support the channel and support the amazing work my guy here is doing to bring up all of these. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. You're cool. You're cool, my guy. Big up, man. Big up. And look, if you guys haven't, please subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 500. Please hit the likes. And if you could, I'm going to put in the description. If you're watching this later on, I'm going to try my best to change the description a little bit, add Akpos's channel in there. It's the Football Talk Shop. If you haven't already, please subscribe to that channel. DWTT in the building. My guys from the Armory TV in the building. If you haven't, please go ahead and do so. And Henry Baker, he's saying to me, Arsenal won't do the Invincibles again. Fans would be deluded. Arsenal won't be. Invincible season? For Arsenal now, impossible. For most teams, fucking almost impossible. To do a treble, that's not easy either. These are feats that are done by, by Galactico teams, by teams that are just fucking huge. This squad that we've got now is decent, but is it as good as the Invincibles? No. Can it see a season through? No. Look what happened last season. We dropped off right at the end. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to go invincible. It takes a lot to do a treble. It takes a hell of a lot to do a treble. Premier League, Champions League, my life, my goodness. Credit where credit's due. That's serious. That ain't no mucking about. To go in there and take out the Champions League and to come in here and compete in the Premier League and win that too. Come on. That takes depth. That takes a squad. That takes a team. And look, big up Manchester City. They've done it. Man United have also done it. But we've also got our own bits and pieces as Arsenal fans. You know what I mean? Being invincible. DWTT, great video from Arsenal. Rice Timber in the seats with teammate Cedric sitting on the floor. Big up, my guy. Big up. Here we go. Even LFC won't do what we did in 2019, 2020 again. Look, I think Liverpool at the moment are a team that will be struggling to get back to their heights. I'm not saying they won't compete, but Liverpool are a team that right now are in a transition, and it's up to their owners to get them out of it. They need to start investing and getting serious. They really need it because, to be perfectly honest, Liverpool's midfield is falling apart. They've done pretty good with Szoboszlai, McAllister, fair enough, Band-Aid solution, whatever you want to call it. But their DM role has not been filled, and they're back in for Lavia. And I believe if Arsenal want Lavia, they will get him over Liverpool. I think Lavia would look at Arsenal as a better team to go to than Liverpool right now. That's just me. Gun down, big up, my guy, big up. Good day, mate. It took this Rudy club long enough, but we have our guys. Bloody oath. We finally got our players. And you know what? Look, I don't think we're done, guys. I don't think it's all done and dusted. I don't believe that Arsenal are done in the transfer window. I believe that Arsenal right now are still, right now, as we're speaking, are still making moves for other players. As you can see, I've got Fabrizio Romano. He's over here. He's pretty much got it set up. Edu, Arteta, and Declan Rice in a tweet. It's got a lot of likes. It's got this. It's got that. It's got all of the above. Declan Rice, Arsenal man. He's the guy. He's going to be in our midfield. 105 million pounds, a record signing for Arsenal. The most expensive English player when it comes to transfer. To be perfectly honest, I'm jumping for joy right now. I can't fucking believe it. To be honest, I'm going to swear I don't care. Yeah. What do we got here? Henry Baker, I do agree, Aussie. Big up, my guy. Big up. Guys, what do you reckon? What else do we need? Declan Rice is now done, finished, confirmed. See you later. Jurrien Timber, confirmed, done. See you later. Kai Havertz, done, confirmed. See you later. Oh, it would be good to say see you later to Kai Havertz right now. But anyway, won't go there. Who's next? What signing do you want to see next? My guy, Akpos, back in the building. My guy, can you hear me? We can see you. Can you hear me? I don't think you can. I think you're still having trouble. It's okay, but I think Akpos is still struggling, guys. I think he is still struggling right now. Tell me what you guys think. I'm really thinking that Declan Rice is a great signing. I do believe that we need another midfielder, though. I think Lavia is a player that we need to bring in because at the moment, right now, yeah, it's a black screen. Sorry, guys. Let me see. Bang. Yeah, it is a black screen. Unfortunately, Akpos, I'm sorry, dude. I can't add you to the stream. You are having troubles, my guy. I'm sorry. Guys, I think the next move from here from Arsenal will be another midfielder. I don't see a winger. I don't see a striker. I think we need to solidify midfield. I think Thomas Partey at the moment, his position, his playing time at Arsenal is sort of on shaky ground. With the addition of Jurrien Timber now, Declan Rice now done, dusted. See you later, alligator. Thomas Partey is probably looking at himself and wondering if he's going to get minutes. Now, I do believe Thomas Partey still has a position to play, a part to play in this squad. I don't want to see the midfield pairing of Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey to be gone and done and dusted, and just replacement of Lavia and Declan Rice. It's going to take time for these players to transition. Declan Rice is not just going to come into Arsenal right now and he's going to hit the ground running. He's a great player, but it will take time for him to settle into this team and to have a new partner beside him in Lavia or Partey. That's going to take time as well. And I believe if Arsenal are going to make moves moving forward, right, that they need to find Declan Rice's partner now. And if that's Thomas Partey, they need to tell Thomas Partey, you've got your position. And if it's not Thomas Partey, we need to make the move for Lavia or Tchouaméni. Now, we've got time. We have got time. Time is of the essence, but time is on our side. We have made some decent signings so far. But I do believe that Arsenal need to keep it rolling if we want to hit the ground running when the Premier League season starts. I want a preseason with our complete squad, guys. I really would. What do we got here? Sorry, guys. Big up. Guys, if you haven't, please hit the likes. Please, guys. I wouldn't mind that. My guy, Akpos, I'm sorry. Done. Dusted. He's not coming back on, guys. I am sorry. Akpos is having trouble. Everyone having trouble, my guys. Guys, let me know one thing. Can you please tell me who do you think comes in? Who's our midfield partner? Who do you think will come in to sit beside Declan Rice in the chat? Tell me who you think, because right now I'm honestly thinking we're not going to be seeing Tchouaméni. I don't believe it. I think that the player that we're going to see next to Declan Rice is going to be, I hate to say it, I think it's going to be Lavia, and I think we're going to get rid of Partey. Seriously. Gun down. Felix may get his contract terminated because of Atleti don't want him. Would you take Felix on a 1 year to prove it? Deal just to see if he fits our system. And Chelsea, that was a shit show. Well, gun down. Look, Felix is a decent player, but he doesn't play. He's not really a striker. I think he sits behind the striker, plays more of a false nine. I think, to be perfectly honest, look, it's a good shout, but the kind of money that we're going to have to pay to get him on loan would be massive. And it would be a good addition, but would it strengthen our number 9? It would. I don't think it'd help our number. I think he's more of a 10, in my opinion. And at the moment, in the 10 role, think of it. We've got Emil Smith-Rowe. We've got Martin Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, whatever you may say. And we now have Kai Havertz, who can also play as a 10. Do we need another 10? I don't think so. Sorry. Carl, my guy. I didn't realize. Mike from Perth. There's a carton with you, mate. That KH Rice, awesome. Big up my guy. Honestly, Akpos is trying, guys. Look at this devotion from my guy. He is not going. He's trying his best to get back on the stream. And I'm going to try to add him one more time. Now, I'm going to try to see if Akpos is back in the building. Oh, he's looking good too. Look at him. The sexy man. How you doing? You're back. For a second. No, he's gone. He's back. He's here. Akpos, can you hear me? Confirm.
Bro, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hey, well, all right.
Can you hear me? Nah, I don't think you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Bro,
yep.
Bro, yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Hey.
You're struggling a bit, huh? I think, Akpos, your internet connection is up shit creek, my guy. Declan Rice is official, my guy. Declan Rice is an Arsenal player, my guy. Can you believe it? Akpos is not in the building. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Mike in Perth, Lavia. Yeah, I believe so. Honestly, Mike, I reckon Lavia will be the next signing we make. Only reason we're going to sign a player like this because if we keep Thomas Partey, we bring in Lavia, it's 40 to 50 million pound. It's not a massive loss. It's going to be probably 35 million pound up front with some other with a with maybe a payment plan over the next 2 years for Southampton, because they're going to definitely need as much as they can possibly get. You know, we all know where Southampton are right now. They're in the shit. Partey half. Don't get that one. I'm sorry. Sorry, guy, you lost me there. Akpos is disappeared. No worries, brother. I'll catch you, my guy. So, guys, Declan Rice, officially done, dusted. See you later. He comes in. He's going to be Arsenal, man. Future captain for Arsenal. Future captain. I'm excited. 105 million. God knows how much up front. Probably shitload, like 95 million. But you know what? I honestly believe that it's a signing. It's a statement signing for Arsenal right now. What do we got here? We could buy Kane for the price of Felix. There's no way in the world Levy will sell Kane to Arsenal for less than 150 million. He wouldn't sell Kane to Man United for less than 120. And don't get me wrong, any team that Kane goes into, he improves. But we're never going to be able to afford Kane. He will go, if Bayern Munich will probably get him for 95, right? 95 million pound. And the only reason they'll get him for 95 is because Kane will move on to a different league. He's no longer in part of the opposition. He can't hammer Tottenham. Do you get what I'm saying? He doesn't strengthen an opposing team. But if he does have to go to an opposing team like a Man United, like an Arsenal, because I think those are the two teams they would be suited to, there's no way in the world. I mean, Man United would be 120, Arsenal would be 150. He probably wouldn't even listen to an offer from Arsenal. So, yeah, I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it happening. But, guys, honestly, big up everybody in the chat. I'm excited. I'm jumping for joy. I think right now this move is a statement move from Arsenal. We have gone ahead, sorted out Declan Rice. We've got that done and dusted. And to be perfectly honest, it's taken a while, but these deals will take a while, especially when we're talking a player of the quality of Declan Rice. Obviously, at West Ham, he was a very important player. And now when it comes to Arsenal, I think he's going to continue in the same fashion. Future captain? I think so. I definitely do think so. Straight off the bat, I don't know. But Declan Rice, Arsenal, done and dusted, my guys. Big up everybody. If you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, please do so. Akpos was in the building, guys, but he has had trouble with his internet connection, so it's been here, there, and everywhere. I will put links to his channel in the description below. I haven't, but I will. Guys, thank you for joining me. I know it was Last Minute FC. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone who smashed the like. Big up everyone who subscribed. Much appreciated. But guess what? Declan Rice to Arsenal. Done, dusted. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all the laughs. And from the Aussie Gooner and everyone here in Australia, my guy from Perth, Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne, you name it, NT, Tasmania, all around, we're going to be saying, uru, guys. Uru.